Today's focus is on our alumni. We can see the reason for this focus in our mission: to empower students to stay in school and achieve in life. In his opening remarks yesterday, our CEO talked about expanding our focus on achieving in life by helping alumni become engaged and productive members of their communities. And Ray is a pretty good example of the upside of this idea. So while my experience with CIS doesn't begin as early as Ray's, starting my career as a site coordinator gave me a much deeper understanding of CIS goals and the needs of our community. Working directly with students, parents, teachers, and administrators every day helped me to understand not just the needs of each, but the need for the connections and relationships that are so critical for our work. When I transitioned into the role of executive director, my goal was to reach our community in greater depth than previous years. My biggest challenge was effectively communicating to donors, community leaders, and volunteers exactly what that depth required to bridge the gap between the need and the solution. CIS alumni have been the best asset for me in meeting this communication challenge. They're the best at testifying to the success of our organization. As a young program in the area, it was first-hand account from one of our alumni that helped us secure 3-year funding in 3 Norfolk public schools from a professional perspective. CIS alumni have more important contributions to my success and the success of CIS of Hampton Roads. For me, they've even had a bigger impact. Our alumni have inspired me to make connections beyond the school walls. And when I make those connections, I see firsthand what our youth face beyond those walls. It inspires me to do more. Our next session will explore how to take this idea and develop it further. Develop a strategy for meeting our lifelong commitment to alumni, as well as honoring our alumni as leaders by way of creating more inclusive practices and policies. I'm excited to introduce this next panel, Fulfilling Our Lifelong Commitment to Alumni. Our next session will explore how to take this idea and develop it further, to develop a strategy for meeting our lifelong commitment to alumni, as well as honoring our alumni as leaders by way of creating more inclusive practices and policies. I am excited to introduce this next panel, Fulfilling Our Lifelong Commitment to Alumni. We have a terrific moderator for this discussion, Cyril Jefferson.
Hello, Hope. Thank you so much for that. We're excited to be here at Leadership Town Hall 2021 for communities and schools. We get to share in this space with you all. We get to communicate. We get to advocate. We get to celebrate the incredible work being done from everyone across the network. And we get to talk about something that's very important to all of us, and that is the students who were served by the mission of CIS, who have now gone on to be alumni. And what are we doing about that now? What are we understanding in terms of how we engage with alumni and how that continues to fulfill the mission that communities and schools have had, and that is to help students achieve in life? And so I'm joined by an esteemed panel here, folks who have been doing incredible work in their respective areas, stakeholders who believe in the mission themselves and who are looking forward to all that this has to behold and have been working with us. They've been on the front lines in figuring out this strategy. And so we'll jump right into it. Ultimately, what we understand is that just a year ago, we were having conversations about how alumni engagement fits into the umbrella of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This umbrella that the CIS National Office had taken on and decided that they would do something about. And they decided that alumni engagement should be a part of that. Stephen, in your role as Chief Operating Equity Officer for the National Office, do you mind sharing some thoughts as to why this decision was so important from your perspective as a leader with the National Office?
Thanks, Cyril. Sure. So I'll start by talking about our overall effort around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so when we started this work in earnest in 2017, the intent was to build our competency and our practice around how to be a better organization in order to serve our students and as well as our alumni. And that journey that we've been on, this is the next trail on our journey, really working with alumni. It's important because it's an inclusionary practice. And for so long at the national office and as well as throughout the network, we've approached DEI from really from a diversity perspective. So, which is important. But you can't have inclusion, you can't have the I in DEI without diversity. But diversity is not complete without inclusion. And so the alumni body of work is so important because it demonstrates how we as an enterprise are in being inclusive in our organizations, whether we have alumni on staff and on our boards, inclusive in terms of our communities that we are serving in, making sure that alumni voice, youth voice, young adult voice are woven into how we talk about the work, how we deliver our services. And then finally, just a broader narrative about youth serving organizations overall is that we put our students and our alumni at the center of the work. And so that's why it's important for us as a national office to really be more centered on the ambitions of our alumni and ambitions of our students, and making sure that that becomes a reality, whether it's again being a part of the team of CIS in terms of a staff person or on the board, being a vendor and using the talents that our alumni have so often demonstrated and put it to use and put it to action, and making sure that they're on par with other vendors in similar spaces, that they're paid competitively, that they're acknowledged for their work and for their contributions to the organization. So on many different levels, that's why it's important for us to, kind of really amplify this work over the next few years.
Stephen, I appreciate you giving that incredible insight. I think there's a lot of folks who are listening to this now, and they're appreciative as well of the moves, of the efforts being done by the national office. And heck, for some of them, it's like we're shining a light on this even more, hearing it from your perspective and the role that you serve. I'd be curious, Caleb and Miriam, if you all don't mind, as we talk about perspectives, you all have a unique one. Not only were you a part of our national working group that was looking at this alumni engagement strategy, but you all work on the affiliate level every day. You're engaging with our students. You're affecting outcomes for them. In fact, the theme for this year's Leadership Town Hall is equitable education outcomes. I wonder if you all could help us out maybe by giving your thoughts on why the work we're doing here is so important, helping us reach those outcomes and helping us, from what you see, while you do your work every day, why this work that we're doing is so integral to that. Caleb, do you mind speaking on that first?
Absolutely, Sarah. First of all, happy to be a part of this panel, but the alumni work is the future. If you look at it, high school diploma is not enough, and the work has been around K through 12 promotion and graduation. We realized that segue, we have so many students that are first generation college students. They come from low income communities. So to get them closer to that American dream of being having a good high paying career, being a homeowner, we know that support, a college degree is one step closer to that, and allowing them to those resources. So having a seat at the table, giving an active voice is one key thing. And we want to really change the trajectory and help these students beat the odds. As you look in the city of Atlanta, you have so many corporate headquarters, but how many students or citizens from the city of Atlanta are getting the jobs instead of people moving in for those jobs? So connecting with those corporate entities to helping those students get the internships or even getting that exposure to these jobs through the alumni programming and knowing that you have support beyond high school is an important step that we have to take to change that that economic inequality thing that's going on that will help with the wealth gap. So I think we are making a monumental step, and I'm glad that community schools as a whole is putting a major focal point in their strategic plan, just like CIS of Atlanta is putting alumni work in their strategic plan.
Caleb, I appreciate that. And if I may say, you and your role as alumni division manager, you're really getting to lean into this a lot. And your affiliate has empowered you to do that. And I appreciate you making real for us that understanding right where you are in Atlanta, the jobs, the wealth gap. How do we impact all of these things? And it's drawn a real, I think, connection and correlation between this work and how we can truly help students achieve in life. I appreciate that. Miriam, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind as well, allow us to know from your perspective why this work is so important and how does it help us as we continue to strive for and achieve equitable education outcomes for the students that we serve.
Sure, of course. So from my perspective, I think alumni are such an intricate part of CIS. You know, alumni have gone through the CIS program. They know which areas of the CIS model need improvement and which areas we excel in. So in order for us to improve as an agency, we have to be vulnerable to that constructive criticism because nothing is perfect. We're not perfect. Not one entity is perfect. And who better to let us know where we need to improve than someone who has been through the CIS program themselves. You know, our alumni can help us grow if we allow them to be that voice of change, which I think is why this is so important, you know, giving alumni the opportunity to help us be better. And as far as how this relates to our pursuit of equitable education, it's not an unknown fact that the education system was not built for minorities. It was not built for people of color. So the needs of our students don't fit under one umbrella because they're so diversified. You know, not my needs are not the same as my kids, just like there are not the same as anyone else on this panel. So there's so many barriers that try and stop our students from achieving in life. And, you know, those barriers include individual needs, cultural, geographical needs. So things that are around us are always changing. And I know the issues that I faced growing up are not the same issues that my students are currently facing. And it is our job as site coordinators to stay relevant and to be open-minded about the issues and needs that our students are currently going through. You know, they're the experts of their life, and we need to honor that as adults. We need to make sure that our services as an agency are inclusive, diversified, and equitable so that we can help our students succeed in life. Listening to the voice of alumni and learning from them helps us make strides forward to providing equitable education because, again, they know the issues and they know the program better than anyone.
Miriam, I love that. Just to think, one, what I hear you say is the wide variety of issues, wide variety of experiences that every student brings with them when they come to be educated. And understanding that says DEI work, number one, is very important. And we see that and why the national office has made its commitment, and we are all committed to that work as well. And then what I also hear you saying that with this wide variety of experiences, a wide variety of sort of intersection and identity, it's so important that we take time, that last letter of the DEI sort of phrase, and that is, how do we include those voices? Because no one can speak about the experience better than the folks themselves. And I think this perhaps gives us a great segue, Brianna. You've been doing incredible work as the 2021 Millikan Fellow. And I want to provide perhaps a baseline of information before we get to your question, in that the Millikan Fellowship was really something enacted by the national office because they said year over year, we want to be very intentional about including the voices of our alumni in the decisions that we make, including the voices of the alumni and how we grow as an organization. And I feel like we've seen that, Brianna. And so now that we've spent the past few questions talking about the reasoning behind why it's so important to do this work, perhaps we can talk about some of the results that came out of this work. And so, Brianna, through your fellowship, you were integral as perhaps the chief architect of our Alumni Activation and Resource Guide, working with the national office, working with our national alumni working group. We built out that strategy. We were able to interview and do so many things to hear from affiliates all across the country to build out the best practices and whatnot. Perhaps, Brianna, you could share with everyone who's listening what you believe to be the most important thing that the Alumni Activation and Resource Guide tells us.
I think when we surveyed the entire network on what they need for alumni programming, the number one kind of emerging theme was a framework. They want to hear from programs that have done it already. And there's not a one size fits all program with alumni programming. Every CIS affiliate is different. The scope of work is different. The size is different. And so the Alumni Resource Guide is going to give you tips from on the ground, from programs that have been 15 years in alumni work and just starting in, 2020, 2 years, 1 or 2 years into alumni work. And so I think that CIS site coordinators and people on the ground, we kind of speak the same language. We know what our students are going through. And so there is a variety of information, from funding opportunities to resources to guides to tips from the people running the programs. And so the Alumni Resource Guide, which was a pretty big deliverable for our alumni working group, is available on the Communities and Schools website. And it is definitely like the resource to go to if you want to not only start alumni programming, but start engaging your alumni in an ethical and trauma-informed way.
Brianna, I want to stay right there just for a second, because you said something very profound in that we as site coordinators and folks who have worked at the affiliate level, and I say we, I had the privilege of being a site coordinator a few years ago. You mentioned that we sort of speak this same language, right? Like we're on the ground every day, and we just heard from Caleb and Miriam as they talked about working at the affiliate level. Brianna, if we could stay right there, as you talk about that shared language and shared experience of serving students, if we ask you just to sort of put yourself in the shoes of those who are affiliates out there, and they hear about this big guide that comes out and all the work that went into it and all the bells and whistles that make it so fantastic, the one perhaps most simple question and pivotal question I think most folks are going to ask themselves is, what am I truly getting out of this myself? Like, if our affiliate, perhaps we don't have the budget or we don't have the staff or some other form of capacity to do this, like, will I see a benefit in this guide? Can you just speak to that, Brianna, for a second?
Absolutely. I think that there is no excuse to not engage your alumni. You can start small and you can start now. You can start by helping out one graduating senior with their books for college, or having a workforce readiness program for some high schoolers, or, hiring your own alumni. There is so many creative and low budget, low barrier, not so much time consuming ways to engage your graduating seniors and above. And so this guide is going to really show that there is, all of those barriers. You don't have to start with a large program. You can't come out of the gate supporting 200 alumni on your first year and not have a dedicated staff person and not have the funding. That is just not possible. But what you can do is look at communities and schools in Memphis. You can look at New Mexico. You can look at Nevada, and you can see how creative they're getting to make sure that we are allowing our students to achieve in life and follow through with our mission. So,
Brianna, thank you for that. Caleb, I want to bounce it back to you and really sort of stay in the same lane here, because we know that you're the Alumni Division Manager at CIS of Atlanta. We know that you've been a part of the working group, but I should further say that CIS of Atlanta, the affiliate where you are, contributed to the information that's in the resource guide that Brianna just talked about, and that you are one of the affiliates that we've got a phenomenal sort of case study on in terms of how you've done your alumni engagement. And I think folks who are listening would love to hear from you, Caleb, here, and that what there's someone who's looking at the guide, what do they have to expect from this guide? What can they get out of it? Is it possible for them without a budget, without staff capacity to engage with their alumni?
Absolutely. I firmly believe it starts with a vision from the top. So the guide will give you various aspects of how to start to be successful. Like Brianna just stated, I echo everything. You start small. Like it started with Caleb, the site coordinator, providing support, alumni support for a student. Then Caleb, the program manager, working with other site coordinators to provide support with students. So now we have a full division. So you start small and grow from there. The funding will come. But you have various resources with these guys. You have various affiliates, so many leaders. You have executive directors, board members, site coordinators, or you actually have alumni students. I think Miriam said it earlier. They are the ones that can really give you that insight. And you could probably talk to one of your alumni students who probably didn't benefit from the program that could have benefited from the program. So having a small focus group, that will give you a great insight on the why behind the importance of it, that connected, because it is a bridge that needs to be afforded to students. And now the good thing is we have various regions, different cities, different insight that can connect with your population and your affiliate. So you have the rural affiliates that's doing it. You have the inner city affiliates that's doing it. You have the state affiliates that's doing it. So essentially you have abundance of resources to help you get the work done. It's more so when you want to get it started, not how soon down the line. Now is the time.
Caleb, thank you. And Brianna, thank you as well for your thoughts on that question. Stephen, I want to come to you next. As we sort of opened up and talking about the importance of this work and the importance of fulfilling the CIS mission of helping students not only achieve in school, but also in life. We've done the Alumni Activation and Research Guide. We've done some road mapping of what we may do in terms of alumni engagement. I think there are a lot of co-champions and co-collaborators out there who would like to know what's next for this work. How can everyone stay involved, whether they're an alum, affiliate, or a national leader? In your opinion, how might you answer that, Stephen?
Well, I would answer it in a number of ways. First, just to totally digest the content of the Alumni Activation and Resource Guide. There are such rich resources, as well as some words of wisdom and case examples from affiliates that everyone should just read and internalize within their organizations. That's number one. Number two, in terms of what's next, this is where we need everyone's help. We're in the midst of doing a number of things at the national office. First is developing a national platform for alumni to engage and and interface with. We hope that it's going to be a part of my CIS community. So if you're an affiliate, to be able to be directly connected to alumni in a way that allows you to not only tap into the talents that our alumni have already, but create opportunities for them, and alumni create opportunities for you as an affiliate to engage. So we're going to need help building that out. We also, our next plan is to really push student alumni engagement and student engagement, but alumni engagement, and specifically in the role that they have in their communities. We want to create more leadership opportunities and within affiliates that could be served on a board or a board committee. It could be in other organizations, but tapping into alumni talent for leadership at the local community level is something that we're going to be pursuing over the next year. Finally, where we need your help and we're going to be doing work on is we're going to be embarking on a broad strategic plan for the next few years as a national office. Alumni need to be at the center of that work. What does it mean for the national office in terms of its service delivery and in service to affiliates and state offices across the network? How does alumni, how do alumni fit into the equation of an added value that grows all affiliates, the whole enterprise, and keeps us moving forward in terms of transforming education as we know it? So that's strategic thinking, and alumni as a stakeholder, affiliates as a stakeholder group are critical to for us to solidify that thinking and coming up with a strong plan for the next few years going forward. So those are three areas I think are really critical for us to nail in the next year. And just stay tuned. There will be opportunities for everyone to have a voice and to be engaged in our long-term strategy process, as well as short-term activities that I described earlier.
Stephen, you're giving me excitement. I don't know if you mean to do that, but you're giving me lots of excitement just thinking about what comes next. As a CIS alum, as someone who's been able to work with all of you all on this strategy, just to hear all of that, we're building the foundation, and I believe the house is going to be grand. And you finished off your statement just now, Stephen, essentially saying there's going to be an opportunity for all to engage with this work, for everyone to get involved. And so, Miriam, I want to engage you next in this question around, to Stephen's point, from your perspective. You spoke earlier around the importance of this and what you see day to day being out in the field at the affiliate level. I think it helps for folks to hear from you and how you view the ability of us all to stay involved, what that looks like from your perspective.
Yeah, so on affiliate level, I think using the alumni resource guide is a great way of staying involved and getting involved. You know, Brianna mentioned earlier that it's not just for alumni or affiliates who want to start off big. You can start off small and work your way up. And so the alumni resource guides can be used by affiliates who don't have an alumni, or affiliates who do and want to take that next step or want to get more information about recruiting or creative ways to get alumni involved. So I think for sure, as an affiliate, having access to that resource guide is a great way to stay involved. You know, also adding your alumni to your board is a way to be involved and get your future graduated alumni or even current alumni to stay within CIS. And like I said earlier, alumni are powerful. They can be the difference in your affiliate, whether you're providing equitable education to your students. So, allowing them to be that voice, allowing alumni to have the opportunities to be engaged. And start off small and then go big. Or, I think there's a way for an affiliate to always keep your alumni engaged. And then for alum, I think one of the best ways to stay involved is finding ways to give back to your community through CIS. Whether that's mentoring at your old school or helping mentor other alumni, building those relationships are so important and are so crucial because they not only help you grow, but they also help the person that you're mentoring help just, grow just as much. And so I would encourage alumni to not be apprehensive about reaching out to your affiliates. Affiliates need alumni input, and there's always something to help with. So don't be scared to take that jump. Don't be scared to send that email, to give that phone call. There is a way for you to stay involved, and your affiliate will help to make sure that they are providing opportunities for you in the best way that they can see, or accommodate you in the best way that they can. And then for national leaders, I think it comes down to creating those opportunities for alumni across the board, like Stephen mentioned earlier. Making sure that our national leaders listen to the voice of alumni and give alumni the platform and the opportunities where they can grow and grow to become leaders themselves, to one day be a part of the agency as an employee or serve on the national level. I would also say that funding on a national level is crucial to alumni work because, as people have mentioned before, it is a lot to create an alumni program, a sustainable alumni program, without the financial resources. It's a lot of work for one person. And so having some of that financial load taken off of an affiliate can help in creating a sustainable alumni program and, doing alumni work. So pushing alumni work and encouraging affiliates to start an alumni program is wonderful. But like I said, if there's no funds in the budget, it's kind of hard, you kind of reach a barrier. So I think on a national level, being able to, give some of that funding to local affiliates can help us keep this alumni work going and growing. So yeah, I think that's how we can all stay involved, no matter what level you're in or, where you are within the CIS network.
I wish I was taking notes, Miriam, because you gave me such a playbook that you get to share with folks at every level, just staying involved. And it's so refreshing to know that it's not just looking from the sidelines, but it's getting in the game. And there's a way for everyone to get in the game. Caleb, you all at CIS of Atlanta, we've referenced here a few times the incredible work that you all are doing. And in your role as alumni division manager, you get to be right at the center of that. Tell us, how can we all stay involved?
Oh, I mean, again, it's been repeated. You start before the student graduates. You build that connectivity through exposure. So, we've taken students to trips to New York. We've taken them to LA, small trip, but really that exposure and having an intentional program, a framework, let them know what alumni programming looks like before they graduate so they can really be excited to be a part of it. Talk about the goals and the resources that they have. And hopefully in the future, it could be a part of not just an Atlanta network, but a robust national network that a student in Atlanta can connect with a student in Seattle, Washington. A student in Seattle, Washington can talk to a student in Memphis, or a student can apply for a national scholarship for tuition assistance. We all need each other. One hand has to wash the other. So staying connected, on an affiliate level, having a social media account, come to where they are. We always believe we're going to meet students where they are. Sometimes we have to balance it with technology. So, Instagram is a great way of doing it, where you can share resources. But like they said, having advisory committee that we're going to do, a leadership advisory committee where we're going to have that constant voice on a monthly basis to give feedback. It may be something new that the students see that we don't see. So we want to make sure we're ahead of the curve and for lack of a better word, because I think we all kind of playing from behind, but it's a good time that we're putting the emphasis on it right now so we can really help those kids who are in elementary school. By the time they graduate, they really have a robust program that they can jump into where they know they'll be excited. Like, hey, I'm in the 9th grade. I know when I graduate, I'm going to be a part of this alumni program with communities and schools. So that's really as I said, a return on investment. And a CEO or executive director of said affiliate is a alumni of the program, or the executive of the board, who is now an executive at Coca-Cola or somewhere, is a part of CIS. We got to really connect the connectors of this great work that we're doing, because this is an amazing organization. We have amazing affiliates that are doing this game-changing work. So the way that we stay connected is start early as possible. Start in high school. Get the parents engaged. We have to use parents as partners. We have to use our colleges as partners as well. We have to use our corporations as partners, because we all are part of that development and growth of our students as well. So have all stakeholders come to the table so we can have a voice to represent the whole child.
Caleb, thank you. I appreciate that. Brianna, I'm going to ask you to help us out here, and you're going to lead us off on our final question. And for context, we've talked about understanding the importance of this work, understanding how this work contributes to just equitable education outcomes and outcomes in general. We talked about the guide, we talked about how it helps affiliates. We've even talked about what are some of the next steps that we'll be doing and how folks can be involved. I just very plainly would love to hear you speak to this. What would it mean to get this work right?
I believe that, some of our most vulnerable students, homeless students, McKinney-Vento students, foster care students, are just frankly left on the graduation stage. We're pouring in all of these resources. We're pouring in, you know, from school supplies to clothing help to basic need help. And then we just leave them on the stage. We say, okay, you achieved, you did it, you know, and that is an incredible achievement, but community shouldn't stop there. And in order for us to make it right, is to arm our students up with the plan for after high school, whether it's the military, whether it's college 2-year or 4-year, whether it's a trade school. And so I feel like we will get it right when we are allowing ourselves to truly embody community. I believe that, you know, in community, it lies the salvation of the world. And so if we're all hands in, if we're all in for our students, if we're all in for our vulnerable populations that graduate, that is when we get it right. And we will. I know we will. There's always been, you know, within the oak tree, there's always been that tiny acorn. And so as many seeds as you can plant in your community, as many, you know, you have to just start somewhere. And yeah, I truly believe that, you know, I needed the resources, and my affiliate had the vision and they executed the vision. And now I'm here and I'm able to give back. And now I'm here and I see the vision. I see, you know, a girl in elementary school who went through the same things that I did. And I know that she's going to have that support. And I know that she's going to have those resources after she goes to middle school, after she gets out of high school. And so, yeah, I think that we'll get it right when our work is rooted in relationships. And I've talked to a lot of affiliates who want to start, and I have to say, do not get discouraged. It's going to start slow. It's going to start small. And alumni just need to know that their community cares about them and that there are adults in the community that they can trust. And so that's where I think we'll get it right, is whenever we embody our values of community and we root this work in relationships. So.
Brianna, thank you. Caleb, same question. What would it mean to get this work right?
I'm gonna start with some of our core values we use: accountability, support, commitment, and leadership. If we can master those things, at least one aspect of accountability, commitment, leadership, and support, we will get it right. It starts with being, as we say, being vulnerable. You got to start somewhere and you got to trust the process. You can't deviate from the process, and you're going to have some hiccups, but it's almost impossible to fail if you really be intentional about the work. You know, you're going to have some tough stories with some of the students, but you got to be there for them and their families. And understand that it's going to be a process, but most importantly, have a structure, have a short and long-term goal of how you want your outcomes to look. You know, there's no perfect outcomes. You got to start somewhere, and be honest, it really starts before they walk across that graduation stage. So getting them prepared and understanding they need to get prepared for having those intentional conversations before you exit them off your, as we exit out the case. So we got to have a plan for them. So I think that's the biggest thing, is starting before they graduate, having that plan about their goals and aligning them to their goals and connecting them to their future. That's when you know you got it right.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Miriam, you mind helping us out? What would it mean to get this work right?
So for me, getting this work right comes down to seeing alumni, our own alumni, be in leadership roles at affiliate and at the national level. Seeing CIS hire their alumni as leaders, empowering our students to reach their definition of achieving in life, and, continuing to be a driving force in equitable education for our students would show me that us as an entity, that us as an enterprise, that us as a community are heading towards in the right direction.
Miriam, thank you. My thoughts as we close out this panel are that, number one, I'm so grateful for every single one of you. Stephen, Brianna, Miriam, Caleb, thank you all. It should not be taken lightly what we've all chosen to do before today, and the days that will go beyond this. We've chosen to make real and make possible a dream that we all believe in. And that's that we can impact the world. And I appreciate you all being a part of that. I also appreciate every single person who's listening to this, every single person who's working across the network, and every person who will join this fight to come, and everyone who's been in the fight before. We believe that we can do something to save the world's youth. We don't think it's too bold of a vision. We don't think it's a vision that's unwarranted. There's a need. We're serving that need. And every champion who's fighting that good fight, my hope and prayer is that you will keep fighting that fight. My hope and prayer is that what was shared today, what we've all gleaned from today, empowers us and emboldens us to keep doing that as well. What it means to get it right, I ask you that same question. What will it mean? We're looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Hope, I'm going to pass it back to you. Take care.
Wow, what a great conversation. So much information and such incredible best practices that were shared. Thank you to our moderator and panelists. We look forward to continuing this work together.